A Rogers man is facing charges tonight after alleged sexual contact with a minor. Women in the community, though, say his arrest did not come soon enough. Channel 6 News reporter Jillian Angeline spoke with them and joins us now with more. Hi, Jillian.
Doug, 52-year-old Christopher Parker was arrested and booked yesterday about 5:30 p.m., but he didn't stay in jail for long, and that's one of the things that's not sitting well with two women involved in the case who we're going to keep anonymous.
I want to see him prosecuted. There's kids that still go over there and play, and I can't say anything. I can't say, watch out for this guy. He might hurt them, and I don't want him to hurt anybody else.
This Rogers woman, who is connected to a local sexual abuse case, is still reeling from its effects. On Monday, Rogers resident Christopher Parker was arrested and booked in Bell County Jail. The police report details multiple children, quote, made outcries of inappropriate touching. It also says Rogers police were told about him on March 2nd, more than 4 months before he was ever arrested. His arrest affidavit says one girl told authorities Parker touched her over her clothes on 4 or 5 occasions, and when she tried to get up and leave, quote, Parker would pull her back to him. The woman says she wishes she could have prevented it.
Like I should have done something about it to keep it from happening.
But after it took months to get him arrested, it took Parker less than 24 hours to bond out of jail. And that has this woman concerned for the victims and other children in the community, too.
Because there's no one to speak for them. There's nobody that's there to protect them from this guy. And so we need the justice system to do their part.
In a statement to Channel 6, the mother of a possible second victim involved in the case says she's lost faith in the justice system after seeing Parker back on the streets so quickly, saying, quote, the police, the lawyers, the criminal, they don't have to mend little spirits that have been abused, and because of that, they are cold to the process of justice. It is nothing more than a word with no real meaning. Now, we have learned as of this afternoon there is another warrant out for Parker's arrest in the case of a second child victim. I reached out to the Rogers police chief and asked him about the case. He told me he cannot respond to media because of a new policy in place. Doug, back to you.
All right, Jillian, thanks.